Join you over here, so
Yeah.
so we can.
So shall we just get
Let's just kick it off.
So good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 2019 CRI Annual Membership Meeting. We're very pleased to see you here today, and thank you for showing your support for your trade association. We'll begin today's with the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Let's pray, please. Our dear Heavenly Father, what a great and awesome God you are. Father, we thank you for the blessings that you pour out upon us each and every day, especially for the blessings that you pour out upon our industry and our associates and our members that are part of this association. I just pray that you give us all the benefit of your wisdom and your guidance as we make the best decisions that we can make on behalf of our associates and our membership. Father, we thank you for all that you do. We thank you for all that you will do. We have faith and confidence that we can rely upon you in everything. For it's in the holy name of our God that I pray. Amen. Let's see. Where we got the flag, Paul? Here it is.
Here, Joe.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm just going to leave these here if that's okay.
Yep. I'd like to acknowledge our guests in the media in the audience today. Please thank you for joining us. Ms. Dobbs, do we have a quorum?
We do.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the annual CRI business meeting. This meeting is held for the purpose of conducting appropriate business for the CRI and electing our board of directors. These actions are required by our bylaws. Now let's move on to CRI's financial situation from David Repp, CRI's treasurer. David?
Thank you, Jack. I'll be very brief today. Let me begin with a review of the 2018 audit report. In August 2019, Nichols, Colley & Associates issued an unqualified opinion. The financial status of CRI is sound. I'd like to thank Susan Newberry and the team for their hard work, not only during the audit, but their efforts year-round. Next, I'd like to take a macro look at the 2020 budget. Anticipated revenues are $9 million, with $6.9 million associated with dues in the VPS and the other $2.1 million through the IAQ SOA. Operating expenses are budgeted at $6.2 million, with $4.4 million associated with operating line items and $1.8 million with the IAQ SOA. The VPS fund program is estimated at $3 million. Please note that the VPS is funded at $4 million and will be using the $1 million excess funding from 2019. Overall estimated results for 2020 is a net loss of $251,000 and will be covered by 2019 surplus. Lastly, I'd like to provide an overview of the operating expenses comparing the 2019 and 2020 budgets. The 2019 budget had total expenses of $5.9 million, and the 2020 budget is set at $6.2 million. The increase to the 2020 budget of $300,000 is mainly driven by anticipated increase in testing fees and expenses associated with the IAQ SOA. This is due to the requirement for expanded testing every other year. The remaining movements are minimal year over year. This concludes the financial review, and I'll turn the program back over to Jack.
Thank you, David. The CRI Nominating Committee met on October 31st and presents the following nominations for the 2020 Board of Directors as required by the CRI bylaws. Nomination for the CRI Board of Directors. Manufacturing seats, Vance Bell, Chairman of Shaw Industries, Tom Bentley, Vice Chairman, Mannington, Dan Frierson, Dixie Group, Jeff Loberbaum, Mohawk Industries, Jim McCallum, Milliken and Company, Len Farrow, Tarkett, Mark Clayton, Phoenix Flooring, Richard French, Bentley, and R.E. Shaw, Engineered Floors. We also have 3 associate manufacturer seats, and that's Chip Howalt of Textile Rubber, Franco Rossi of Aquafil, and Mark Amon of Universal Fibers. We have nominations for the chairman, and that is Vance Bell, Shaw Industries. For vice chairman, it's Tom Penley of Mannington. For the treasurer, David Repp, Mohawk Industries. And CRI president, Joe Yarborough, and secretary, Louise Dobbs. Do I hear a motion to accept this nominating committee slate?
So moved.
Do I hear a second? Are there any nominations from the floor? If not, the slate presented will automatically be elected by acclamation. Not hearing any additional nominations, the slate of nominees stands approved. Vance Bell will serve as CRI chairman for 2020. Pursuant to the bylaws at the Board of Directors meeting held earlier, the following members were appointed to the CRI Policy Committee for 2020. Vance Bell, Chairman from Shaw Industries. Tom Penley, Vice Chairman, Mannington. Chip Howalt, Textile Rubber. Dan Frierson, the Dixie Group. Jeff Loberbaum, Mohawk Industries. Jim McCallum, Milliken and Company. And R.E. Shaw, Engineered Floors. Congratulations to the 2020 CRI Board of Directors. Gentlemen, your new duties begin immediately following the adjournment of the annual business meeting. We'd like to recognize those who contribute time and energy for CRI activities. One of those people is our outgoing Strategic Issue Leadership Council Chairman, John Faulkner, of the Dixie Group. John, will you come up? John, on behalf of the CRI Board, I'd like to thank you so much for your service. You've done a wonderful job and been a great asset to the organization. So thank you so much for your service. It's now time to present our annual Smirker Award. Philip Ivey from Milliken and Company is here to make the presentation. Philip?
Good morning. My name is Philip Ivey, and I'm here to present the Joseph J. Schmerker Memorial Award, which was established by Milliken and Company in 1998 to honor the late Dr. Joe Schmerker, who, through Milliken's generosity, served on numerous CRI committees. Dr. Joe set the standard for service to CRI in the carpet industry. Though the award was established by Milliken, the CRI staff members have been asked to choose the recipient each year. And I knew Dr. Joe personally, and he was very thoughtful, and he was always helpful. And so this award is recognizing Russ DeLozier, the Director of Sustainability for Engineered Floors Commercial Division. This is the second time that Russ has been honored with this award. He's a co-honoree in 2013. Russ, with over 25 years of experience in the commercial flooring industry, is the longest-serving mill rep for Carpet America recovery effort, which we serve on the board of CARE together. And so we proudly want to present the 2019 Schmerker Award to Russ Delosier. What an honor to be able to present this to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
What a treat.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Russ.
Can I say just one brief thing?
Please.
Wow, wow, thank you. Thank you. I now know how to pronounce the award. Somebody said to me just probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, said, Russ, if we only had tomorrow what we were thankful for today, would that change anything? That's a pretty profound statement. You know, think about it. You and I slept last night. I had about 8,000 breaths. You and I had about 25,000 heartbeats all while we were asleep. And I don't know if we've thanked God for that. So I do want to say thank God for this. I do genuinely thank, but I also do thank the CRI. The CRI is a great membership. I blow the horn of the CRI every chance I get. I think we manage the competition element of the flooring industry exceptionally well. I'm very proud of this. And so, Joe, thank you for your leadership in it, and Jack as well as yours. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Russ.
Thank you. It's now time for our President's annual report on the state of CRI activities. Joe, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, sir. Well, this isn't on Jack's agenda, but you know, Jack has done yeoman service. This is actually the 3rd annual meeting that Jack has presided over. And, you know, we're blessed to have a lot of great leaders and folks that are involved with our membership. I'll talk about that a little more in my president's report. But Jack has just been an exceptional partner and workmate as we've tried to deal with the issues that are faced by the CRI this past year. And so, Jack, I want to thank you so much for your service, and I want to present you also with an award today commemorating your service for CRI.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you, Joe, and thanks to the staff of CRI. Really enjoyed working and getting to know all the people. So thank you so much. And Joe, thanks for all you do every day. You do yeoman's work in terms of this organization. So thank you for that as well.
Well, Jack, thank you. It's indeed my privilege. And, you know, I'm a firm believer in quality over quantity. So I want to thank all of you who have faced the cold this morning and the challenges of getting here for this early start for our annual meeting. You know, Dave Foster and I were talking just a little while ago about the old days, right? We all like to remember the great things of the old days. Well, I submit to you today are the great old days, okay? A lot of good stuff going on, but there was a time when this room would have had 350, 400 people in it. And our industry has changed. The face of our industry has changed. Consolidation of our manufacturers has obviously influenced that to a great extent. And, you know, we manage our business with governance, and I'm going to talk some more about our structure as I get into my report today. But we've got great participation from the leadership of this industry, the CEOs of our member companies. We just completed a board meeting earlier this morning and covered a multitude of topics and issues, and it's wonderful to see the camaraderie. Russ, thank you for speaking to it. I think, you know, at the end of the day, we've got fierce competitors that make up this industry. They compete almost to the death for an order, and compete every day in wonderful ways with great products and differentiated products that meet the demands of the consumers in our industry. And so for the leadership that's provided there and the actions that you alluded to, Russ, we're just very blessed. Our industry has grown and matured, and we're in a great place today. And we're in a great place because of the types of quality of those leaders that we have, that we enjoy working with each and every day. So for that, I just want to begin by by stating that. And once again, Jack, thank you so very much for your leadership. I want to also add my welcome to those of you who are here today. We've got great people that work with us throughout our organization, our staff, our volunteers that work with our various panels. And this year, there have been many challenges, as in any year. Those of you who work closely with us on our panels and the things that we deal with know exactly what I'm speaking to when I say we've had challenges. Been opportunities as well, but I'm just very pleased that I have the privilege and the opportunity to serve in the capacity that I do, to work with this trade association and its memberships and the things that we accomplish together. I would like to state that I believe that CRI will continue to represent our industry and the interest of our members well. Let's review the work from this past year. First of all, I see many meaningful developments that we've enjoyed. We've increased the number of certified products in our signature programs. We've established relationships with new organizations. We've reached new audiences through our social media campaigns to help them learn about the benefits and the attributes of the products that our industry manufactures. CRI focuses our resources and our initiatives on a couple of things. One, we want to make sure we're addressing the highest priority needs for our industry, and those priorities are ever changing and ever being reestablished. We're also interested in making sure that we're advancing the business needs of our industry. There's been a time in our history where perhaps we were focused more on the technical aspects of our products and perhaps not so much on some of our business requirements to satisfy the needs of our members. CRI has enjoyed significant progress toward these objectives due to something I mentioned earlier, and that's the dedication of the volunteers from our member companies who support the efforts and the activities of the CRI. The governance of our organization, of course, we have a board of directors and a policy committee. The board of directors is made up of the folks that were just nominated a few moments ago. The policy committee sort of serves as the executive committee and acts between the formal board membership meetings. Then we have the Strategic Issues Leadership Council, and it's really what I would term the operating committee for our organization. The ladies and gentlemen that serve on our silk have direct access to their CEOs, and when they're present, we perceive that they are actually speaking on behalf of their CEO and have the authority to make recommendations that are supported by the leadership of their respective organizations. These folks are made up of very diverse backgrounds and experiences. We have operations, manufacturing, sustainability, sales and marketing, finance, legal, communications, as well as the technical folks that comprise our committee membership. To me, that's a very important thing, that we have that level of diversification so that when we converse and maybe debate direction and pathways that are important for our industry, we've got folks with the experience and the perspective that give us a great outcome in terms of what we're proposing to do. So for this year's annual meeting, I'd like to focus my conversation with you more or less on the big picture. We're going to get into the weeds a little bit, but I think including some conversation for you about developments on the technical front with our carpet cleaning standards, talk about sustainability assessments, and then government relations work in the great state of California and also with our VPS program. So VPS program, let's remind you all what that's about. The VPS stands for Voluntary Product Stewardship Program, and its purpose is to promote market-driven solutions, emphasis on market-driven, for the diversion of post-consumer carpet from landfills. This program is available across all of the United States, except in those states and local municipalities that have extended producer responsibility regulations for dealing with post-consumer carpet. The program is designed to accept and manage all applicable U.S. post-consumer carpet, regardless of its polymer type, the primary materials used in its fabrication, or in its construction. What does this program support? It supports sorters, those who sort post-consumer carpet, by polymer type. They bale and label that sorted output, and there are pathways that it can take and qualify for this program. They either reuse the carpet that's post-consumer material in a suitable application. They sell and ship the sorted output for further processing, either internally in their own organization or externally to others who are set up to do this. Another alternative is to use it in an alternative fuel application. And to us, this is a very important opportunity, using it in places like waste to energy, pyrolysis, a new program that we're working with currently with cement kilns, and using carpet as an alternative fuel. Elements of this program and/or the entire program will sunset as more economically viable solutions are identified. This program began in 2015 with the approval of our board to support this voluntary product stewardship action. And due to the successes that have been realized since 2015, the continuation of this program for 2020 has been approved by our board of directors. Now, let me tell you, sustainability remains a very high priority for our members. Sustainability is something that is just the right good thing to do for business, as some of our members are quoted as saying. As a high priority, there are ways that they approach this. First of all, they develop products that are, in fact, environmentally friendly and promote initiatives that create a brighter and more sustainable future with those products. Another area that you've heard mentioned already today is with our NSF 140 program. One of the major developments for this current year has been on the sustainability front, where we have refreshed the NSF ANSI 140 standard. This is a sustainability assessment for carpet. The assessment for carpet focuses on aiding material suppliers, converters, manufacturers, and end users with the design and innovation of products, improved customer satisfaction, ecological preservation, along with many other benefits. This has been an all-round collaborative effort from each of our stakeholder groups, and that participation just cannot be understated. The work to develop this unique standard and how it benefits the environment and its sustainability efforts. So for those who participated in that action, I just want to thank you all very much. This program was first developed back in 2005, and at that time, this was one of the very first multi-attributes, multi-stakeholder standards for sustainability in the built environment. It's been a focus of the carpet industry's willingness to listen to outside stakeholders, to embrace change, align with other emerging standards, and finally to push for higher performance. And all of this has kept these standards not only current, but also relevant as time has passed. Another element of work this year has been with our CRI 204 and 205. This has been a great accomplishment on the technical front for our organization, and we released the CRI's carpet cleaning and maintenance standards, which we colloquially call CRI 204 and 205. These are companion standards that go with the installation standards, CRI 104 and 105, that were released a couple of years ago. And the success that we have had being recognized as, the gold standard when it comes to advice and recommendations about how to either install the products and clean and maintain them once they're in place. So this has been a very important thing for our organization in these past months. These standards promote easy to understand recommendations. In other words, they're not overly complicated with technical language and so forth. And in fact, these standards are so significant to our members that most of our members' warranties include reference to our cleaning and standard program with CRI 204 and 205. Social media. I know everybody's got at least one cell phone in their pocket this morning, okay, at least one. So we know how important being connected to others can be. So a few years ago, CRI was faced with the challenge of promoting the many benefits of carpet in the social media space. During that time, we have initialized and utilized something called blogger campaigns. And I'm certain that all of you in the audience know what a blogger campaign is, but it promotes the attributes of our products as being the best choice for flooring of homes, apartments, offices, and other commercial spaces. Highlighting how carpet improves the indoor environment through attributes like design, indoor air quality, and sustainability. Through these campaigns, we have reached literally millions of folks. I was amazed when I saw some of the numbers of the numbers of millions of people who actually were not only shown these attributes and this information on social media, but also clicked through and have taken other action as a result of being engaged. So we see this as a very effective and cost-efficient way to reach a broad audience, and we're going to continue to utilize these types of social media campaigns as they give a personal message, something that they can relate to with their own families and their own specific situations about the benefits of carpet for them as a consumer. I'm going to segue now to my favorite topic, the Republic of California. California legislature passed a new amendment to the original law, AB 2398, with a law called AB 729. Well, I'm going to begin by saying to this audience this morning, this legislation just was not necessary. It began as a framework to amend the existing law so that a transition plan could be defined if, and I emphasize if, the CARE California Carpet Stewardship Plan were either revoked or otherwise terminated. I submit to you that a solution to that question could have been done through many alternative paths without having to have state legislation to define what that transition plan would need to be. But unfortunately, as happens with legislation, AB 729 got a lot of other laundry hung onto its language. I recently was quoted in a trade press publication with the following, and I'm just going to read this so I make sure I get it accurate since I'm quoting something I am supposed to have said. AB 729 paves the way for the state to step in and disrupt the most successful recycling program in the state. Carpet recycling has increased more than 36% in the last 2 years alone, but AB 729 gives Cal Recycle a pathway to take over this effort with no limit on how much they can raise fees on consumers to administer the program. This would come at a time when real questions exist about Cal Recycle's own ability to successfully execute other recycling programs that they administer. The bill's proponents have indicated that their true agenda is to ultimately ban carpet in California, as has been stated by some who have given me their opinion about what this ought to do. Now, the reality is this. Over the past several years, CRI has worked alongside the Carpet America Recovery Effort, CARE, and Cal Recycle to establish the very first carpet recycling stewardship plan in the entire country. Has it been easy? No. But through the hard work of CARE, carpet recycling rates are continuing to increase, the recycled output continues to grow, and we continue to strive to identify new technologies to ensure that California carpet gets recycled. Currently, the CARE program is funded through a 35-cent assessment per square yard, every square yard that's sold in the state of California. Originally, this assessment started as 5 cents back in 2011, so it's increased sevenfold to the current 35 cents per square yard today. AB 729 now requires the funding mechanism to be composed of a system of something called differential assessments. I submit to you that this could be very difficult to administer and possibly have no impact on the recycling rate of carpet in California. AB 729 directly contradicts the process that Cal Recycle, the overseer of this program, approved in a plan that was adopted by CARE in February of this current year, 2019. Specifically, there are 5 things that we must do with CARE in accordance with the approved plan. CARE is required to do the following. First, within 1 year of the adoption of the plan, which remember was done in February of 2019, which means by February of 2020, CARE is to provide an analysis regarding differential assessments. Secondly, the plan requires that both the California Carpet Stewardship Advisory Committee and Cal Recycle be consulted to provide input to how this analysis should be done. CARE is considering holding what we would call public stakeholder workshops. This would include targeted mill and retailer participants in this workshop to solicit their input on the potential implications, benefits, or challenges with adopting something called differential assessments. And by the way, differential assessments means instead of the current broad brush fee that's required when carpet is sold at one number, there could be multiple numbers, and that's why I'm suggesting it's going to be so difficult to administer. Number 4, CARE will be summarizing stakeholder feedback obtained through the above activities prior to adopting differential assessments, and will follow other decision-making processes outlined in the CARE plan that was approved last February, including providing a rationale for adoption if enacted. That was the format under which we were operating until 729 was passed. And finally, under current law, we have to be reminded that the amount of the assessment shall not, and that's the language of the law, the assessment shall not create an unfair advantage in the marketplace, and that's important, folks. That's very important. So this is another area that CARE will be looking at to ensure a level playing field in the event of differential assessments being enacted. So I have to ask you the question, why would California legislature, the legislative process, overrule the process approved by the administrative agency, Cal Recycle, that would allow timely review and research, pricing structures, markets, and stakeholder input in determining if and how a differential assessment would work and be set up? I tell you what, upon close evaluation of the provisions of AB 729, the question has to be asked, who is seeking to benefit from this legislation? Enough of my favorite subject, panels. As most of you know, the panels are the gears of our organization. We're blessed to have those panels made up of devoted volunteers from our member companies who are dedicated to advancing our industry and the activities of the CRI. So once again, I want to thank, and there are several panel members in the room today, I want to thank those who participate on these panels. You give your time, you give your talent to making our industry and this organization what it is today. So thank you very much, those of you who are in the room that serve on those. I'll begin with the Product Performance and Standards Panel, which oversees all of the technical related projects and programs within CRI. We do that with the help of some of the best technical minds in our entire industry. We are truly blessed to have an industry that is made up of experienced, well-qualified, and well-trained individuals that support the efforts of CRI every day. Many of those volunteers were behind the update of the program I mentioned earlier, the NSF ANSI 140, and the development of our CRI 204 and 205 cleaning and maintenance standards. This PP&S panel, as we call it, oversees our signature programs, and those include Green Label Plus, the Seal of Approval, along with a soon-to-be-announced laboratory proficiency testing program. We're not prepared to give a lot of details about that today, but that'll be forthcoming shortly after the first of the year. This panel ensures that all of these programs provide maximum benefit to the industry and to our consumers. The Epr Care Panel. Okay. We know there's growing emphasis on extended producer responsibility and other carpet-related legislation across our country. CRI continues to engage this issue with market-based solutions and research while serving as an advocate for the industry. The states of Illinois, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New Hampshire, New York, and Rhode Island, and most recently Colorado, have been primary states where we have seen proposed legislation and activity during this past year. CRI will continue to represent the best interest of the industry in these states that I've mentioned and beyond. CRI also continues to have a very active presence in a number of legislative groups throughout the country. Jen Stowe is our representative for most of that activity. And let me tell you, I think some of our members would attest that there's probably not anybody in legislation around the entire country that doesn't know who Jen is. You have a relationship that is well established with all of those folks, and for that, Jen, we especially appreciate your efforts, so thank you. The engagement with these folks provides our organization with an excellent exposure and also gives us a chance through Jen's efforts to build a relationship and educate legislators and their staffs on issues that are important to our membership. The third panel is our promotion panel. The promotion panel continues to promote the best aspects and attributes of carpet and our industry. In 2019, the group engaged member companies' marketing personnel to further advance the goal of our industry and to ensure that CRI is connected to current trends and strategies for communication. I've already alluded to the blogger campaigns and the success of those. This group supports many of the activities of the other two panels and has also successfully promoted recent CRI projects, the CRI 204 and 205 rollout, and also the publication of the NSF 140 that was released earlier this year. So in conclusion, I survey our industry and I see a lot of things that have happened in the roughly 50 years that I've been involved in this industry. I tell you today I am hopeful and I have faith in the leadership across our industry that we will step forward into a new decade. Can you believe it's the third decade of this century that we're about to start? But what these men and women do as leaders of our community have done a wonderful, wonderful job of advancing our industry, and lots of good things are happening there. There will be challenges ahead, that's for sure, but I know we'll tackle them together. The collaborative spirit and the efforts that we have as a trade association will be for the betterment of the whole industry as well as its long-term future. Specifically, I would like to thank the minor firm. I'd like to thank Tom and Ken are here today from representing their firm. Thank you for your expertise and your legal support. I'd like to thank the Morehouse Group. Penny, you're here representing them today, as well as Nichols, Colley & Associates, for their expertise as they support our financial and accounting requirements for our association. And finally, again, to David Ripp. David, I want to especially thank you for the time that you have spent as our treasurer, and John, the time that you have spent as our chairman of our silk. You gentlemen have meant the world to me, and I look forward to continuing to work with you, David, as our treasurer. Finally, I want to thank our board of directors. I thought some of them, were going to be here today. We did have the board meeting earlier, and duty called. But I do want to thank our board of directors, and I want to thank our chairman, Jack Ganley, once again. Your steadfast support and the encouragement to me personally as I try to lead this organization, as well as to our staff on behalf of our great industry. I think CRI has had a very productive year in 2019. I think we've had a successful representation as your trade association. We look forward to even more successful and wonderful 2020. So thank you very much for your time and attention this morning.
So Joe, thank you for that very comprehensive report. I think it's incredibly important that you keep our membership up to date with the activities of CRI, and you've done a great job of doing that this morning, so thank you for that. Also, would just like to express my personal thanks to Joe for what he's done every day for the CRI and for me, to Louise for putting together the meetings and keeping us all in line, and again to John and to David for what you guys do. You've made my role as chairman an easy job. So ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's agenda. Thanks so much for joining us. Hope you have a wonderful day. Good morning.